Hi class, let's take a look at example 13. And in example 13, there's one main property that we're going to be looking at, and this is the multiplication of positive and negative numbers. And here's the basic idea. When you multiplied two numbers that happen to be positive, your outcome is going to be a positive one. When you multiplied two numbers that will be negative, then your outcome is going to be positive. And if any of the numbers that you're multiplying happens to be negative and then the other one positive, then the solution is going to be negative in terms of the signs. And here's actually four examples to take a look at. Notice that they're actually multiplying a negative 2 times a positive 6. The outcome, since one of them is technically negative, it's going to be negative 12. And same idea for the second problem. They're multiplying 4 times a negative 5, so the outcome is going to be a negative value. When you multiply two positives, then the answer is going to be positive, and then the one that tends to be a little bit tricky is the multiplication of two negative values. The outcome ends up being a positive. Now let's take a look at some of these examples. And the first part of the problem that we're going to take care of is the sign. So as we multiply these two values, since we technically have two negatives, your outcome is going to be positive. So you're technically just multiplying a 2/3 times a 3/8. And what I'm going to do here is cancel common factors. So the actual 3's cancel. And we are left with 2/8. We can redo this one further as 2 times 1 and 2 times 4. And I'm just going to carry out the cancellation of common factors. So our main solution for this multiplication is positive 1/4. And once again, what took place here was the multiplication of two negative values. Let's take a look at problem 2. And in problem 2, let's first take care of the sign. Since one of them is negative, your main answer is going to be negative. So technically you're multiplying 7/12 times 8 over the values of 21. So I'm just putting the sign on the outside to indicate that this is going to be a negative answer. So the numbers that are going to multiply are going to be just these two, and we're just going to carry the negative. So let me start canceling common factors. So this is going to be 7 times, and the 8, I can express it as 4 times 2 over, and I'm just going to put them as a single fraction. Don't forget the sign. The 12, I can express it as 4 times 3, and the 21 as 7 times 3. And what I'm doing here is, once again, expressing the 8 with common factors, the 12, and then also the 21, because the main idea is that you're canceling values from the top and bottom. So for example, on this one, you can cancel the 7s, you can cancel the 4s, and actually that's it. Our main answer is going to be negative. On the top, we're left with a 2. And then at the bottom, 3 times 3. Or in this case, negative 2 9s. Now, once again, your multiplication was a positive and a negative. Your main answer is going to be a negative. This one ended up being 2 9s. Let's take a look at example 3. And good news, you're just multiplying two positive values. So in this case, let me do the cancellation of the common factors, a 2 and a 2. So this one is just going to give us a 1/3. Let's move on to example 4. And in example 4, one of your values is negative. So your main answer is going to be negative. And let me just put it in the front So you're going to multiply 14 times 15. Actually, 14 divided by 15 times 9 20s. And let me start to get common factors. So your 14, I'm going to express it as 7 times 2. The 15, it's going to be 5 times 3 would be the common factors. 9, it'll be 3 times 3. And then the 20, it'll be, well, we can cancel the 2. So 10 times 2. And then careful on the cancellation. 1, 3 cancels. 1, 2 cancels. And let me rewrite it again. But I think we're actually done. So this is going to be negative. And on the top, you're left with 7 times 3 over 5 times 10. No more common factors. So you're going to get negative 21 over 50. Let's take a look at the last problem here. And numbers are getting a little bit larger, but our main answer, since you're multiplying a negative times a negative, it's going to be a positive. So let me just rewrite it as 33 over 60. Oops, this is a 60. And then a 40 over an 88. And let me start canceling. So 33, you can express it as 11 times 3. 60, we can cancel the 3 by expressing it as 20 times 3. And then 40, we could get 20 times 2. And then from the bottom, a 2 times a 44 to express the 88. And let me start canceling common factors. So this one, we're going to get more common factors, but here you notice you can cancel a 3 and then you can cancel the 2's. And let me rewrite it. So this is equivalent to, you're left with 11 times 20 over 20 times 44. And I could have canceled the 20s on the previous step. So the 20s cancel. And this is going to be 11 over 4 times 11. And the actual 11s cancel. So careful on this one, because on the top, you technically have not just 11, but 11 times 1. That's in your actual fraction. So you're left with 1 over 4. And let me take a look at the algebra. Here, we could have canceled the 20 in this step. I just didn't see it when I was doing the cancellation. So I took an extra step and then technically cancel it here. But if you would have noticed it, we could have done the cancellation of the 20s in this step. Same thing, we just took an extra step, and at the moment, our final answer is going to be 1/4. That's actually it for the multiplication of sign fractions, which technically we're multiplying sign numbers.